Good afternoon and welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is Kevin Mahn. He is the President and CIO of Hennion and Walsh Asset Management. And the question I'm asking him is a new global bull market starting to take form? You know, it's a little bit crazy as the market's been pretty volatile this week, but we've had 2 consecutive quarters of really good earnings growth, GDP revision to the upside. Are you concerned that we're at the top of the cycle?
I think we're just at the beginning of the cycle, actually, and the market is now resetting its expectations for potential interest rate hikes because the economy is progressing so well. We've had fourth quarter earnings growth of over 16.7%. Thus far, with 20% of companies reporting in Q1, 82% of them have beaten their estimates. So we have 2 consecutive now quarters of stellar earnings growth. Where does that lead us looking ahead? We haven't even seen the full benefit of the corporate tax cuts as of yet, which we're anticipating for the second half of the year. But with that, Jill, of course, we're in an environment now where good news is bad news. The more good economic news that we get, the greater likelihood that the Fed moves quicker, and that scares some investors.
Well, so you're arguing that we are at the beginning of another new bull market, but what kind of companies should investors be focusing on in this environment?
Yeah, I think you should be looking for those companies with strong balance sheets, competitive advantages, and those with a history of earnings growth. If, in fact, we're on a new trend of earnings growth momentum, well, let's identify those companies that have a history of growing their earnings already.
Well, now that we have volatility back in the market for 2018, why are you recommending that investors have a global diversified portfolio?
Yeah, I think there's more short-term bouts of volatility along the way, although I would suggest that now it's a fundamentals earnings-driven type of stock market. And with that being said, there are benefits to having a globally diversified portfolio, including not only select U.S. companies, but also international companies in developed markets, emerging markets, and frontier markets.
All right, and to wrap it up, what solutions are you offering at Smart Trust?
Yeah, we have a great solution at Smart Trust right now with Dorsey Wright. It's called our International Momentum Trust, and it attempts to invest in foreign companies that trade on U.S. exchanges in developed markets, frontier markets, and emerging markets that meet Dorsey Wright's relative strength criteria.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite. I can imagine our conversation is going to be very interesting the next quarter as well.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Jill.
And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.